just dipped into the 8s.
See, I mean, that's awesome.
It's so good, yeah. That's my absolute favorite part of this entire build.
I love it.
Hey guys, Stephanie and Justin with AmericanMuscle.com here with another exciting episode of Hot Lap where we have a top-end build on the 95 Cobra, some Mustang news for the first time in a long time, and a pretty cool product break.
But first, I have to remind you, our 10th anniversary sweepstakes package is drawing to a close. November 11th is the last day to get in on this crazy giveaway. So what are you doing? You have one entry per week. You know what we're giving away by now, right? The Mustang, the Raptor, the fully loaded race trailer, and we're giving it all away on Black Friday. So it's crazy, and it's ending really soon here, so get on it while you can. AmericanMuscle.com/win is how you do so. But first, a very cool segment that I'm super excited about. Give you a little context here. A few months back, I went down to get NHRA certified in the Super Comp dragsters, ripped off a couple of 880s at 152, no big deal. But recently, you went down to get your certification, and you had a blast.
I did. I had a couple personal best ETs, I cut a couple really great lights, and we got some awesome footage, so you guys should check it out. We are currently at Maple Grove Raceway, and we're doing something really special today. I don't know, maybe it's just special to me, but I am here to get my NHRA license. There it is! I'm actually pretty pumped about it. I never thought that I'd have an opportunity like this. I've been racing for a while, but I've never actually raced a car that wasn't a door car. And I'm gonna be sitting in a rail car today, a Super Comp car to be exact, making some of the fastest passes that I've ever personally made. I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm gonna go through a safety course, I'm gonna get some gear, and then I'm gonna get in the car and we're gonna do some things. Yo, I feel like something about this is wrong. You're filming me getting dressed? Oh, we're gonna get so many comments on this. Can't wait to see the YouTube. In order to get my NHRA license, I have to do 6 passes. So the first pass is really short. It's a 330 pass. Then I have an 8-mile pass. Then after that, I have 2,000-foot passes. And then I have 2 full passes after that. This is my first time, but it's really not difficult. It's like 2 G's right to the chest. It does take your breath away. You gotta sit back and there could be no doubt in your mind, and you just have to get it. This is awesome, dude.
How was your first run?
It was awesome.
It looked real good.
Did it?
It looked real good. We know there's a million people here, but that minute or two is about you.
Yep.
Nobody else.
Yep.
So you take your time, don't put your steps in front, just take your time and do your thing.
This doesn't get old. This isn't ever gonna get old. Oh God, this is awesome.
We'll let it cool down.
Cool.
And then this time we'll go to the second cone as long as everything feels comfortable.
All right. The smell of race fuel. Woo. That was only the second cone, and that is officially the fastest pass that I have ever personally made. I'm so stoked right now. For me, this is what it's all about. There's nothing like driving a car like this. 981, letting out at the second cone. We're only gonna get faster.
That looked really good though. How'd it feel?
Honestly, that was the first time I actually felt myself like relax and slow down the moment, and I felt like straight as an arrow. That run was freaking amazing. I'm trying to hit like 1,000-foot mark. I'm kind of just guesstimating. I will say I did red light, but honestly guys, I'm not out here trying to cut lights. Today isn't about cutting a tree or getting my best light time. It's about getting the passes in, getting the car straight, and proving that I can actually do this. It's about to get real. Full pull. God, I just ran an 8-second pass. It was an 8.9. I gotta do a little bit better, but yeah. Oh, amazing, I want more. I get to go one more time. I'm gonna try to beat that 8.9. That was awesome. I'm on the way back and I'm like, I wish I could go again. Thanks, man. So I did it. I successfully made all the passes that I need to get my NHRA license. I'm super pumped. I can't even tell you. There's a moment where everything just slows down and it feels like it's slow motion. You're going so fast and you're just zoned in on that groove and keeping the nose of the car in the shiny part of the track. That was the best feeling. The other highlight of the day was my first pass. I had a 008 light. I'm not out here to cut lights. I'm out here to get my passes, to get my license. I didn't want the stress of trying to cut a light in a car that I don't know. But hey, I pulled out a 008 light, so I'm pretty proud of myself. So I have all my time slips here. I have my paperwork. I just need to send this in, pay my fees like normal. I got my freaking license. I don't know, I can't complain. It was awesome. It was an awesome experience. The product break for this episode is going to feature another great MMD V-Series product. You're looking at the MMD V-Series side exit catback exhaust for the 2015 and newer S550 GT Mustang. This is an MMD and Flowmaster collab that gives you a big change in sound and a change in style as well. This is a side exit exhaust. It's going to come with new rocker panels to accommodate for the side exits, and MMD even gives you blockout plates to smooth out your rear valence and cover up the cutouts for your factory exhaust. This is going to change the looks of both the side and the rear of the S550, and it's for the better in my opinion. The system features an X-pipe to a set of Flowmaster straight-through mufflers, which produces one of the best sounds for the S550 GT in my opinion. It's a good mix between loud and raspy, but it isn't too much. And of course, we've got some sound clips for you so you can make your own call on that. Take a listen, but before you go, if you guys are interested, you can always head over to the site and check this thing out some more online for yourselves.
Today in the shop, we have a 95 Cobra in for some basic maintenance, a full top end build, including a brand new bumpy camshaft, clutch and flywheel, and a full exhaust system with a set of long tube headers. And this car belongs to my man Adam right beside me here. New addition to the video team. You guys have seen him in some of the videos, of course. Adam, this is your ride. Tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, sure. So I picked up the 95 Cobra early 2016 this year. And shortly after I got it, I noticed there was a pretty serious oil leak. We had about 1/3 of a single quart of oil came out of it when I drained it. Not good at all, but it's 21 years old, so it's to be expected.
So the 95 Cobra, kind of the bastard child of the SN95 Cobra era, right?
Unfortunately.
I mean, why'd you fall in love with this car?
I've had 3 95s so far. I've had a 95 V6, got in an accident, 95 GT, totaled by a school bus. I wasn't in it, thank God. And then from there, I bumped it up to the 95 Cobra. I seem to, pick up some more power each time.
Stepping it up, yeah. There you go.
But since this build is such a common one with all the 95s and 94 to 98s, I should say, I figured I'd differentiate it somehow. I'd pick up this, the Autoflex paint you see here. It's got the color shift.
I like it.
I wanted to go with a white because I really like that 95 Cobra R look, but I wanted to give it a little bit of flair, so you see a little bit of purple and blue in there. Got that done by a guy actually local here, Custom Coatings in Northeast Philly. Did a great job on this. I really
it looks sharp. Now, a lot of you guys watching at home might not know that the 94 and 95 Cobras actually still had the 5-liter in it. The 95 here being the last year of the 5.0, correct?
That's correct.
So there you go. A lot of the Fox body guys will probably recognize a lot of the parts Adam's going to use for his build. But the old girl's kind of tired, right, man?
Just hit 130,000 miles as I was pulling it in here for the build. So while we're fixing the oil leak issues with the rear main seal, we'll pull the trans out, pull the motor out. It's a lot easier that way. We'll actually tackle the clutch, the cylinder heads, the cam, a few other parts, radiator. Just kind of get it back on its feet and give it some more power and sound. sound.
We have a lot of work to do with this thing, so
Let's get into it.
all right.
As you just saw, we pulled the motor completely out of the car just to make it a little bit easier to work on. We broke the entire thing down to the bare block, which was a pretty cool process. Starting on the rebuild, we threw on the Ford Performance Turbo Swirl GT40X cylinder heads. A huge improvement over the factory option there, and on top of that, we've got the Crane Cam's 1.7 rocker arms, which is something that comes from the factory on the 95 Cobras, as opposed to the 1.6s you'd find in the basic GT. Now that, in combination with the Ford Performance E303 camshaft, we're expecting a pretty decent lope. Now the E303 cam isn't the largest of cams, but matching that up with the 1.7 rocker arms, it should expect for a really good sound, something I'm extremely excited about. On top of that, while we have the engine broken down to the bare block, it's a great idea to do some restoration work, such as throwing on the new water pump just to help this thing run a little bit cooler. It is 21 years old, so it can kind of use all the help you can get. With that on there, we're gonna build this thing back up. We've got the rocker arms torqued down with some stock internals, like the stock push rods, stock lifters, everything there completely from the factory because it all works very well together with the E303 cam. So we're getting ready to throw the BBK long tube headers on now before we throw the engine back in the car. Putting them in outside the car is light years easier for us as opposed to working with minimal space in the engine bay. With the 1 5/8 mandrel bent tubing, these have a more free-flowing construction which produces a deeper, louder tone, as well as adding some slight improvements in power at the wheels. We're getting ready to throw the motor right back in the car. Before we do so, we got a couple little maintenance pieces we're gonna take care of, starting with the rear main seal. Now, as you can see, we got the old rear main seal right in my hand. Nick just took care of putting the new one in. The rear main seal I have in my hand is obviously falling apart, as you can see. This rear main seal was causing that massive oil leak that brought us here in the first place. In addition to that, we're actually gonna throw on a brand new clutch and flywheel while the transmission's out, just to make it a little easier on ourselves in the long run. I'm gonna throw a McLeod Street Pro clutch in, which is a decent upgrade from stock, handling up to about 450 horsepower, which is a generous amount higher than what we expect here. Pairing that up with the McLeod lightweight race steel flywheel, this thing should grab gears like a brand new car.
Well, Adam, this thing's looking like a motor again. I know you and Nick have been really hard at work at this thing. I've been kind of watching from the sidelines, staying out of the way a little bit. How do you think the build's going?
I think it's going great. I'm really excited to hear what it sounds like when it's done, put together. We got the camshaft mixed with the rocker arms. I'm really excited.
Nice. Well, once this thing actually gets into place here, what else do we have left kind of on the plate?
We got the SR Performance Radiator, Mishimoto fan and shroud, full exhaust, and intake and tune, and we're done.
The moment of truth, right? Let's stop talking and get this thing in.
Let's do it. Now previously the Cobra would run slightly hotter than you want it to, which can be attributed to a number of different things. We took care of the water pump, which helps, but we're taking things a step further and throwing the SR Performance aluminum radiator on, which is going to help keep the car running a lot cooler, something that after 21 years and 130,000 miles would be a huge help. We got a couple finishing touches to take care of. BBK off-road X-Pipe we're working on right now with my buddy Nick, which by off-road, of course, means we're going to be deleting the cats. No cats, no restrictions. Next up, the Borla catback, which is my personal favorite without a doubt. This is an ultra-smooth, mandrel-bent stainless steel tubing to improve the exhaust flow and features a 2-turbo style muffler with 3.5-inch stainless steel tips coming out the rear end, which looks a million times better than stock. The last piece of the puzzle is going to be the SR Performance cold air intake and the Bama custom tune. The cold air intake will definitely help with the intake airflow to the manifold and will offer a reusable oiled filter from SR. Now if you guys don't know, 95 is the last year of the OBD1, so we don't have a handheld tuner. We got to work with the 4-bank eliminator chip, which we'll take care of in just a second. But after that, we're going to test this thing on the dyno to see what kind of power it's making, and we'll talk about the results while we take it for a spin out on the road.
thing finally, right after a long build. What do you think, man?
I love the way this sound is just blowing my mind. It's really great, but coming up to an idle, hopefully we get up to a light, you'll hear that lope, that cam getting into play. And that thing's a huge game changer for this. I mean, it really wakes the engine up.
As a Coyote owner, I'm completely and utterly jealous right now. I mean, sure, I might have a little bit more power on you, but ultimately, pushrod engines just sound a hell of a lot different, and I think for the better. I mean, listen, I love my Coyote, whatever, but it just doesn't have the old pushrod sound, which you really can't beat.
You can't beat it.
Overall, we did some decent amount of work.
Yeah, we got the Ford Performance GT40X head, get a better airflow going. We got the E303 cam. After that, we did the McLeod Street Pro clutch. That feels great, by the way. A huge upgrade from the stock clutch. You remember when I pulled it in for the build?
Dude, your throw-up bearing was like in
it just disintegrated.
Let's pause for a moment and appreciate this amazing idle, shall we? See? I mean, that's awesome.
It's so good, yeah. That's my absolute favorite part of this entire build.
I love it, dude. I love it. Done, dude. Oh, look at that, dude. Snapping necks in this thing.
It's in there, man. It gets there.
Caught me slipping there, dude. I wasn't ready for that.
I was planning for that.
Nice.
Yeah. So we did the BBK chrome long tubes with the BBK off-road X pipe. Got rid of the cats, get rid of the restrictions. It kind of opens it up.
I hear you.
It's a little bit raspier than it's stock, but it sounds great. Exactly. And then kicking it back with the Borla catback, which is something that's always been my favorite sound. Not too overwhelming, but when you want it to, it's there.
Sounds healthy, man, for sure.
Let's see if we can open this thing up here.
Yeah.
Embarrass the Camaro a little bit.
Well, he might take it to you, man. He didn't want any of it.
Downshift, man.
Oh, I hear it.
The backfire doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's like, ugh.
Oh, there's that idle again.
It's always
just
there.
Saying what's up.
So faithful now.
Gotta get you some seats, bro.
Yeah, I mean, some
these are comfy, but
this is like a Tempur-Pedic.
I was gonna say, it's like a lazy boy when I first climbed into this thing.
I like them.
We did throw this thing on the dyno after all the mods. We couldn't get our baseline numbers because basically we had to limp this thing into the shop. But we know what these things make, pretty much bone stock. I mean, 94, 95 Cobras, no mods, are like in the very low 200s for wheel horsepower, like mid 200-ish for torque, so not too bad. But with all of our goodies in place now, the car is really responding well to the new mods. 265 horsepower to the rear wheels, 300 pound-feet of torque. I mean, that's pretty solid, man.
I'm actually very happy with those numbers. I was hoping to touch 300 torque, and we did. We got it right on the nose. It's something you can really feel in the car, too.
Oh, believe me, my neck hurts. Yeah, from earlier. This thing is torquey, it pulls hard, and overall, big gains over what this thing would be otherwise stock. The car sounds gnarly, pulls hard. For your first round of mods, it's pretty hardcore, man. You happy?
I'm so happy. I could not be happier with this. But with cars, it's never really done. Yeah. So we'll come back around.
All right, I like the sound of that. You guys need to stay tuned as well, because I'm sure a lot of you guys, you'll pushrod guys especially, get tired of seeing the new stuff all the time. Exactly. So we got Adam here, kind of keeping the old 5.0 alive for us. Well, hey man, it's been fun being a part of this and seeing your face light up the first time this thing fired up with that new idle. I'm sure you really enjoyed this build. I know I did as well.
I get that same smile every time I start it up.
Time to blow the dust off the old Mustang news machine here for Hot Lap, as there is some relatively new and exciting news in the world of Mustangs, more specifically with the 2018 refresh upon us. Now, the rumor mill has been swirling, obviously, with what Ford has in store for the next chapter of the S550 Mustang, and some of the recently released spy photos are certainly fueling the fire. First things first, obviously this car is heavily camoed from Ford in both the front and rear, and this obviously points to a pretty big refresh for the 2018 model year. Think 2011 and 2012 making the change through 2013 and 14. Up front here, again, really hard to tell through all the camo, but what we have seen is some different changes to the lighting, maybe this little LED ring going around the projector here, hinting at some of the changes possible for the lighting, in addition to a slightly lower hood line, which may be in response to some of the visibility issues with the current S550 Mustang. You will notice a very glossy black roof on one test mule spotted running around Detroit, Michigan. This could possibly be the return of a glass roof, or it could just be a black painted roof. A little too early to tell on this rumor. As for the rear of the car, one can imagine the car is going to hang on to those iconic tri-bar taillights, but maybe with a few slight tweaks in the design. And one big thing that I'm personally curious about, we've seen some test mules running around with a quad tip exhaust system. Is this maybe the next generation Mach 1, or will the standard GT or next generation S550 be receiving a quad tip exhaust system, much like the GT350? Under the hood, well, again, it's a little too early to tell some concrete details, but we can guarantee the introduction of the 10-speed automatic for the very first time with the 2018 Mustang, in addition to hopefully some possible changes with the Coyote power plant, maybe a small bump in power through direct injection or something else. We also have seen this little hood bulge or this bump in the hood on some of the test mules running around Detroit, which have gotten people talking all kinds of craziness, from maybe a new addition underneath the hood to a possible hood vent for that Mach 1, or maybe even just like an old school retro hood mounted gauge pod, which I personally think might be a stretch. Either way, this definitely either is hinting towards some changes under the hood, or it could just be Ford's cruel way of messing with everybody. Nevertheless, the new Mustang should be making its debut to the world sometime early to mid 2017, possibly at the Detroit Auto Show. So in the meantime, be sure to keep it locked here at Hot Lap or the blog at AmericanMuscle.com for all future updates.
So that's going to wrap up this episode of Hot Lap. I hope some of you old school pushrod guys enjoyed seeing some of Adam's build. And I know I had a great time, I'm sure you did too, getting our NHRA license.
That's right, maybe next time you can beat that 880 that I put up. Just saying. But in the meantime, guys, stay tuned. We're going to SEMA next month. We're going to bring you some of their top Mustangs from the show. We're out of here. She's slower than me. And for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.
Oh, you're such an ass. Dude, come on.